Yeah, welcome back. We're live. It's Tuesday. It's January 6th, 2015. So good to be with you. We've already done one episode in 2015, so Happy New Year. And this is our second episode. We're lucky to be joined by Jeff for Justice, who joins us from California to talk about some of the activism and video projects he's worked on YouTube. I want to shine a spotlight on peaceful resistors, as always. I welcome your calls, 443-424-8347. You can send a Skype contact request to Peace News Now. That'll be accepted, and that'll put you on the air. Or you can just join us in the chat room. It's lively over there. Looks like we got a lot of people signed in over at peacenewsnow.com/live. There you'll see live video of this show as well as the chat room where you can interact with other listeners. So let's get into it. Jeff, you're joining us from California. Where are you? It's very dark.
I'm inside of the SUV that I actually live out of. So I'm newly getting acquainted with your audience. Hello, thank you for having me on your show. And for folks who may not know me, then I live out of my SUV by choice, and I'm outside of a Wi-Fi spot in Pico Rivera right now.
That's an interesting choice. How long have you been living out of a vehicle?
Since 2010, I got tired of living paycheck to paycheck in that sort of rut, and I am non-material. Sorry if I'm bouncing there. The laptop is on my lap, so it's very laptopy right now. Let me try to study that. But anyway, I've been doing this since 2010, and I got tired of that paycheck to paycheck cycle, and I decided I wanted to save money, and I live non-materialistic. You know, I'm a minimalist basically. And yet, even living in the Bay Area, I was in a roommate situation at the time, and I had relatively cheap rent, and I didn't have a vehicle at the time, but I still felt the majority of my income was going to pay for property that I couldn't even own myself, just paying rent as a roommate. So I got tired of that and decided to start living out of the vehicle.
All right, so you saw the way the world was, you didn't like it, and you decided to make a change. You started with yourself. I really like that. I admire that. It's not the choice I would have made, but it's definitely been an interesting one to follow you on YouTube because you produce videos pretty regularly. What's it like to put out YouTube videos from a vehicle?
Well, I try to give myself an archive of videos and, you know, have sort of a hot streak of recording and then edit them and then release them, you know, for a while. So right now I have about 2 months I could do, but those videos have been recorded previously. So that's one of the ways that I try to do my YouTubery is just get some, you know, get on a momentum and get some videos done. But I have done quite a few videos documenting some of my experiences living and traveling out of my vehicle, because once I started living out of the vehicle, then I also began traveling out of the vehicle, but pretty limited to just California. I've yet to be able to travel the rest of the inland states. And so I do document some of the experiences and both the benefits and hardships of living out of the vehicle. And I do this by choice. I'm in an SUV that I can sleep out of and lay my full body down. I just prefer to upgrade to a camper van one day when I can, and I think travel is awesome, and the freedom to go and have a new home wherever I want to. I just love that freedom. And I know you're a freedom-themed guy, so, you know, you say it's not for you, but I think there's so much freedom that comes with travel and being able to do that out of a vehicle. And then I also encounter a lot of homeless people who do this, because a lot of homeless people get stuck in the poverty trap, and if they're lucky enough to be in a vehicle, they live out of their car, truck, SUV, or van. And so I do some independent homeless outreach regarding some of the folks that I meet.
What kind of outreach?
I will go, for example, in Pico Rivera's here. You can look on my YouTube channel. If you type in Jeff for Justice Pico Rivera, you'll see that I go out and I do interviews and let the people have a voice for explaining their situation and whatever they want to say about trying to get people to be empathetic or understanding of poverty. And then separate from that, I'll have a little flyer that has information about different things of how they can get a phone or eyeglasses or different things like that. And I know that you're very voluntarist, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think you're very voluntarist and anti-statism. Unfortunately, and I'm a voluntarist wannabe. Some of the assistance, though, that I guide people to is statism-based assistance, and if there's ever a way to emancipate from that, I'm happy to do that. But I think in the meantime, if people's first priority is their own immediate survival before allegiance to any ideologies.
So one of the things I love about your YouTube channel is some of the interviews that you do. You've interviewed some big names.
Yes.
Like who?
Roseanne Barr, and I have a celebrity, a section on my YouTube channel called Jeff's Celebrity Sightings, and that includes the different encounters or interviews that I've done. Weird Al Yankovic, and I don't know, you know, it's interesting too because I'm not too big into celebrities. I kind of am and I kind of not, you know, like I don't read People magazine or watch Entertainment Tonight or any of that kind of stuff, but surely if I can interview them and get, you know, increased views on my YouTube channel, I'm not going to deny the opportunity. And when I do, I try to get them on the record of something they're not known for, or I ask a question that should be asked because it should be something that would obviously be something people are curious about. For an example of something they're not known for, the lead singer of the Goo Goo Dolls, I was able to interview him, and the lighting was probably as bad as it is. Sorry for my bad lighting, but with my modest camera there, I was able to interview the guy from the Goo Goo Dolls, and I got him on the record about how he feels about marriage equality for gay and lesbian folks and voting outside the two-party system.
All right, we're going to watch one of your interviews right now. This is Jeff for Justice interviewing the Glenn Greenwald. Take a listen.
This is like selfie evolved.
There we go.
Right.
This is Jeff for Justice. I'm here with Glenn Greenwald. So nice to meet you. Thank you for talking to me. I want to ask you, as a gay man, I'm a gay man, how do you feel about the LGBT community and their silence on issues like Chelsea Manning and the NSA? Do you think that mega groups like Human Rights Campaign should be more vocal? Do you think they're too timid because of allegiance to Obama and the Democrat half of the two-party system? What are your thoughts on the LGBT mega groups and their obligation to shine lights on the topics that you address?
I mean, I think it's hard to generalize about the gay community. There's a lot of
mega groups specifically.
Yeah, but I mean, the mega groups, their strategy is basically to be as uncontroversial and mainstream and assimilation as possible, and so they've become kind of the antithesis of what made the gay community so interesting politically for so long. And they're just like every other interest group in Washington, just casting aside anybody who's inconvenient or politically burdensome to them, and that they've become a net force for bad when it comes to political reform.
Excellent. And,
all right, that's it.
Do you support any alternative political parties?
All right.
Great. Is that it? Thank you.
Okay.
Do you support any alternative political parties?
You don't give up here.
Or the advancement of alternative political parties
You're
like the Greens or Libertarians?
Why should I give up? I'm sure he wouldn't give up if he was
an infotainer, not a journalist.
All right, so explain that.
Yeah, if Glenn Greenwald was talking to somebody of prominence, I'm sure he wouldn't give up and he would try to keep asking questions. So you know, sometimes that was a book signing event, and often at book signing events, I'll go last deliberately so that I can try to, you know, I don't want to be recording an interview and have, you know, people behind me waiting for a photo or a book signing or something like that. So I patiently wait and I try to be the last one. And seems like he was getting tired, so they took off after that question. But hey, I'll take one question. And you know what? Of all the people I've ever interviewed, I was probably most nervous around him because I don't consider myself a journalist. I consider myself an infotainer. And a journalist of his stature, I was a little nervous and intimidated by him.
Yeah, one of my other favorite interviews was with Abby Martin of RT Breaking the Set. Can you talk a little bit about what it was like to interview her? Because she was much nicer to you. She seemed like she had more time for you for some reason. Where was she at?
I have two interviews with Abby. Which one are you referring to?
Oh, I don't know. It had a white background.
A white background. So that's probably the newer one. I interviewed her previously at the Zeitgeist Media Festival in the Los Angeles area in 2003, and then again in 2014 in, I think it was the spring. And that was at the United We Stand Festival organized by Free and Equal. And I had incorrectly made a statement about her that her organization Media Roots had tweeted something authored by somebody who had homophobic vibes in the commentary. And I was wrong about that, so I later made a video apologizing to Abby Martin. So there's another reason I don't label myself as a journalist, because that was a lazy, sloppy day where I came unprepared. But I have to say, in my defense, I am an independent activist. I'm a one-person.
We'll be right back.
Oh, go ahead.
I love my Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on.
Hey, you there?
Yeah, sorry, I didn't know we had commercials.
I should have let you know. So, yep, I just will be back in 4 minutes.
Okay.
Take a water break or whatever you need to do. How you
Alright.
holding up? How you holding up?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm okay. Am I too loud?
Yes, you are a little loud. It's not horrible, but since you asked, I would relax your voice because I can hear. I've got plenty of volume on you, and I can amp up your levels if you're too quiet. So talk to me as if I'm like right in their car with you.
All right.
So we're just right next to each other having a conversation, like I'm in the passenger seat and you're in the driver's seat.
I usually take off my glasses so there's no glare, but I always feel vulnerable without the glasses because I'm blind without them.
Put them on.
No. Then it's too glary.
I'll be the judge of that.
Let's see. No, that's awful.
It's a nice effect. I think it's very real. We had some funny questions from the basement dwellers in the chat room. Oh, by the way, during this break, I should be adding the video to the chat page. Sorry about that. I forgot to do that before the show. But yeah, are you signed into the chat room? You can be likely while you're broadcasting. You don't have to be watching or listening there. But they ask questions on occasion, and they're mean too. They're super mean.
Try to did I push the right button? The toolbox thingy.
Toolbox thingy? For what? What do you want to do?
Oh, that's the wrong thing. For the chat thing that you're talking about?
Oh, not that. Yeah, it's never mind. If it's too complicated, you'd have to open another window for it.
Sorry, I'm not.
The chat room.
Not a big expert on Google Plus. I've done it a couple times, but I'm still kind of.
Google Plus. It's on the Peace News Now website.
Oh, I see. Okay. But if there's any questions, especially if they're directly towards me afterwards, if the comments still live after the broadcast, then I'll go on and do any replies.
Yeah, unfortunately they do not. These some do. The ones on the YouTube do.
Right.
But the ones on the website are just sort of free flowing. It's an IRC chat. We've got a minute and a half.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to look up. What was the question? One guy says, damn, Abby Martin is hot. Another person says, when I hit rock bottom, I'm going to live in Home Depot. That's funny. What's he say? In the shower displays. You sound like Farley, one guy says. Who's Farley? Chris Farley? I don't think so. Are there rats in your car? That's funny. Why would there be? You know, because I guess, I don't know. Okay, 10 seconds.
Why do you always answer a question with a question? You should reply, do I do that? Just kidding. From survivalspeech.com, I'm Holland Cook.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
Welcome back. This is Peace News. You can take control by calling 443-424-8347. We're talking with Jeff for Justice. He has a YouTube channel, Jeff for Justice, where you can follow him. He travels the country in his... It's not an RV. It's an SUV.
Right.
Travel the country in an SUV and make YouTube videos. Somehow you manage to put out regular content and interview pretty high-profile celebs like Glenn Greenwald and Abby Martin. And this is pretty amazing to me because you're living life very differently, and that takes a lot of courage, and it's a trailblazer mentality. So Tell me a little bit about, like, how did you first of how have you changed since you began this project?
Living out of the vehicle or YouTubing?
Well, which one did you begin first?
It actually kind of came together around the same time in 2010, and I launched the YouTube channel in January 2011. At first, I was going to try to make a documentary about the topic of living in a vehicle, and then I learned painful lessons about back up your files before your computer crashes. So instead of the documentary route, I decided to just do YouTube videos instead. And at first, it was my own vlogs about my own experiences living out of the vehicle, and then I evolved that into the interviews with folks that I met along the way who are in poverty, stuck living out of their vehicle. And I also bought a video editing program to, remember when we used to have the video cameras that was, the short little tapes that you had to fast forward and rewind, and if you put them in your VCR, you had to have a special adapter. So I had all these home movies from those types of it's not VHS, whatever that type of tape is called. So I had to buy a converter to convert all of them to digital file, MP4 or whatever I converted them to. And that's when the light bulb kind of went off in my head that, that's when I kind of got the interest in editing videos and making videos. And then as I was moving into my vehicle and trying to document that experience, the light bulb kind of went off on my head, and I thought of people like Michael Moore and Morgan Spurlock, who, not ideologically, but in terms of what they do, they're basically activist entertainers where they create activist content and make entertainment out of it, basically kind of like you have done with your documentary.
Yeah, where are you ideologically?
Well, first of all, I advocate for a person should have allegiance first and foremost to their own self-preservation and extend that to their significant other and children if they have any. I'm single, so I don't. And then beyond that, I'm a voluntarist wannabe. I say wannabe because it's pretty hard to be a voluntarist when you have so much force imposed upon you. So obviously, if I see flashing lights behind the SUV, I'm going to pull over and produce the documents to, avoid. I mean, you can see one of my confrontations with the police where I encountered the LA Sheriff's Department who tried to illegally search my vehicle, and I had a really stupid reaction. I started cussing them out, and I say stupid because there's so many videos of police brutality, and so I think it's best to keep a cool head and not get too hot-headed in those situations. But anyway, so a voluntarist wannabe, and I've learned a lot about voluntarism from you. You've been like a mentor to me with Peace News Now. I think you're acquainted with my friend Benjamin Bartholomew out of California.
Yeah, awesome.
Right?
And called Good Men Do Something.
The Bartholomew family, and also through people like Chris Cantwell, Adam Kokesh, and Stefan Molyneux have sort of, Mark Stevens of No State Project have been a lot of people that I've learned about the concept of anarchism, voluntarism from, and but I think I've come to some different conclusions. I think a lot of people in that crowd have come to the conclusion that anarcho-capitalism is the best thing to aspire for, or perhaps the best thing for humanity once statism hypothetically falls in the future. And not only do I not agree that it's the best thing, but I don't agree that it will. I just don't think the outcome will. I think if humanity emancipates from statism, I don't think that. I think markets will become irrelevant the way that we know them today.
What are markets in that way that
any kind of monetary system, or perhaps even barter? I think that humanity's living under three fear-based systems of control, which are government, market, and religion, government, and market. And it's interesting that in the topics of voluntarism, I don't often hear the topic of religion, but to me, religion and government and statism almost go hand in hand. Religion is, I can't think of one religion that doesn't violate non-aggression principle. Most religions that I can think of do blatantly mandate aggression. So, sorry, I'm trailing off on your question, but anyway, I see us living under three fear-based systems of control, and I think one thing that gets lost in the conversation about the end of statism, our wish to emancipate from government, I think things that often get forgotten in that conversation by the prevailing voices is just how social norms change. I believe you're a gay man. I'm a gay man. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you're gay, right?
Yeah, I'm gay.
So we as gay men in the past decade that we've been alive have seen a lot of change in social norms on just the topic of homosexuality and transgender and other sexual minority or gender issues. So social norms change so drastically decade to decade, century to century, period to period. So I think that one of the prevailing social norms that would probably change is people just lovingly sharing knowledge and resources. And we're already seeing this. I think in a way you do it, I do it as communicators of information. And then we see it in websites like freecycle.com, couchsurfing.org. So I think that substituting monetary systems with lovingly sharing, as people already do in their nuclear families, generally speaking, I think those will become some of the prevailing norms at such a time where humanity could emancipate from government, if we even make it that far. I'm also an idealist trapped in the body of somebody with a bleak worldview, so I do fear that the religious zealots and the statists will probably kill us with a nuclear war. I hope I'm wrong, though.
I admire that you have the courage to live your principles, even though we disagree about the market, and probably we disagree about the definition. I have a feeling we probably agree on most principles if we got our definition straight. But I'd love to talk more about that, but I have a burning question. Where do you shower if you live in a car?
Either at the gym. 24-Hour Fitness seems to have the most locations here in California. So it's either the gym, or I also have a network of friends and family members. So I do occasionally, I mention couchsurfing.org. So if it gets too hot or too cold, I'll use couchsurfing.org, or I'll just pull from my network of friends and family and do the occasional couch surfing, or sort of piggybacking off of their house where I can use the shower or the internet.
Have you been affected by any of these? We're running low on time. But can you plug your websites for me, please?
JeffForJustice.com, but more importantly, the YouTube channel is Jeff for Justice, and that's the number 4. Am I visible there? The number 4, Jeff for Justice. And if they type in Jeff for Justice on YouTube, Twitter, or Facebook, I will be there and happy to engage with any nice, kind people.
Hey, it's Jeff for Justice on YouTube. He's great. Go subscribe to his channel because he puts out some very original content, unlike anything I've ever seen. He's got a lot.
Derek.
Thank you. Thanks for being a peaceful resistor and for having the courage to live different. Coming up, our old friend Michele Seven is going to return to the show for just a segment. Call Peace News Now.
Freedom Feeds with Michael.
Hey, thank you, Jeff. That was awesome, and I can't wait to speak again. I hope you have an awesome rest of the day, and I will be sending people to your YouTube channel in the show notes.
Excellent. Does this go up tonight or tomorrow, or when does it go up?
Yeah, immediately. So this broadcast ends at midnight, and then the video starts processing on YouTube on the Peace News Now channel, and it will be live.
All right, tomorrow evening during the primetime hours, I'll promote this on all the Facebook pages that I'm on and direct my audience to check out your work. Thank you, Derek, for inviting me on the show. I appreciate when other independent voices and activists lift each other up and hear each other out. So thank you so much for that. And as I mentioned, I'm hoping to go over to the East Coast this year for the first time. So I hope that when we do, I can interview you and meet you in person. And thank you so much.
That'd be terrific, and I would be happy to do that. Don't be a stranger. Always send a message if you have something to announce, or if you're reporting the police or something. I definitely want to know about it.
All right, same to you. Thank you, Derek.
Thank you. Cheers.
Good night.
And we bring together medically skilled freedom lovers. Free Aid is made possible by your generous support. Donors can receive great gifts like first aid kits, t-shirts, Silver Dime cards, and hoodies. The Free Aid Silver Dime Card Project is sponsored in part by Roberts & Roberts Brokerage, Freedom's Phoenix, and Don't Tread on Meme. Visit fr33aid.com.
Hi, I'm Derek J. To me, an activist's calling is to actively work to advance a cause. The cause for which I work is personal freedom. I believe my life is best when I engage in voluntary interactions and self-government. I reject the idea that anyone else has a higher claim to my life or my body than I do. I see people who call themselves the government as a threat to my personal freedom. I realize you may feel differently, but my relationship with the people who call themselves the government is completely involuntary. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com.
Did you know that you can listen to LRN.FM 24/7 via our free-to-air satellite channel? From Mexico to Canada, our signal covers nearly all of North America. All you need is a view of the southern sky, an affordable receiver, and a dish as small as 30 inches. There are no monthly fees. Learn more at sat.lrn.fm. Plus, if you're a broadcaster or want to be one, this is a good delivery method for our content. See our coverage map and get details at sat.lrn.fm. That's sat.lrn.fm.
Are you drinking too much and it's destroying your life? If you're ready to quit drinking, we have a real solution for you that can help you quit drinking within hours. That's right, we can help you quit drinking within hours. It's not magic, it's medical science. At Sober Time, we'll show you how this simple 20-minute outpatient medical procedure will turn off your cravings within hours. Let's face it, if you don't crave a drink, you're not going to drink. And if you don't drink, you won't get drunk. The medication is FDA approved and covered by most major insurance plans.
Hey, Michelle.
So if you're really ready to stop drinking and get your life back, call Sober Time now for a free consultation.
Hi.
Patients
I
have
don't hear
nearly
you
an
yet, but I see you
85%
have
success
typed
rate.
to me.
So here's the number. Call.
I'm hearing something.
Hi.
Oh, there you are. Hi.
Yeah?
You're not going to be on video, though, right?
I'm not, if that's okay.
That is okay. Hold your thoughts. We'll be right there.
How's my sound?
Sign up to receive
Very
the
good.
latest about the Liberty Radio.
Probably, yeah.
Actually, give me a second, because it's not on my thing yet. I've got to switch it over. Sorry.
Okay. I'll give you a sec.
Okay.
This is Peace News. Welcome. We're live. It's Tuesday, January 6th, 2015. A whole new year. The best year yet. I can't wait. We've got a bunch of trials coming up here in Keene, New Hampshire. James Cleveland is still waiting on a decision from the infamous Judge Burke. Hey, did I mention I decided to take my CCW case all the way to the New Hampshire State Supreme Court? It's happening! I can't wait. It's going to be so much fun to see those police squirm on the stand. Actually, I don't even know if they'll have to attend the Supreme Court hearing, but it's going to be a lot of fun. They're going to get their asses handed to them by rock star attorney Evan Nappen. If you're not familiar with him, just Google him. He's always on the NRA news websites and interviews and stuff because he's always taking on high-profile cases and kicking butt. So that's what you can expect. If you want to support the case, please do that at my website, derekj.me. There you'll see a link on the side of the page that says concealed carry. Just click that link and you'll see all the background story and ways that you can support. So joining us now, I think, is Michele Seven. Are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you great, Michelle. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Happy New Year, honey.
Happy New Year to you.
Thanks.
So we're having a great day here in the Shire. What's on your mind?
Well, you know, I'm pretty active on Twitter. I tweet. I'm a Twitterer.
You are. You're Bitcoin Belle on Twitter.
I am. I am the Bitcoin Belle. And I actually got that name because back, over a year ago when I had decided that I was going to be involved with social media after, not being on Facebook for a couple years, I was looking for a name and I wanted to have something to do with Bitcoin because that was really why I was getting involved. And a guy named Justin Patak had started calling me Belle back in like 2007. And it was Michelle my Belle, then just Belle. And I thought, oh, Bitcoin Belle, that's so cute. So it's because of Justin Patak I go by that name.
So you kind of have two personalities. This is one of the...
I have several.
It's one of the things that can happen with the internet age is that there's a wide audience who knows you through your voice on Free Talk Live. And then there's a whole nother audience who knows you through your tweets on Twitter as Bitcoin Belle. One is Bitcoin Belle, the other is Michele Seven. What should I call you tonight?
Sugar.
All right, sugar. Need no more. So
So there I was, watching tweets come through as I was, making lasagna for dinner, yum, and I saw that Roger Ver, who is known as Roger Ver from from Free Talk Live and the Liberty community, but he's known as the Bitcoin Jesus to a lot of people who are involved in Bitcoin, and like Jesus, the man. He has been thwarted by the state once again, and I'd like to talk a little bit about that. A lot of people know that he had given up his U.S. citizenship, as is our quote-unquote right to do under the law, blah, blah, blah. And he created I don't know if it was him that created it, but he was part of this alternative passport movement, and he and I spoke about it a little bit at the Bitcoin conference in Miami a year ago, which we're coming up on the anniversary. I beg your pardon?
What's an alternative passport?
I think it's a passport. It's like a Bitcoin passport. I'm not sure if it's out of the Isle. I think it's out of the Isle of Man, I believe. I don't qualify for any of those things because I have to get permission from the State Department to leave. So I just don't, it's one of those things like I also don't go shop for Teslas either because I can't afford one. So whatever.
I was thinking about you during our previous guest, Jeff for Justice, because he travels around in an SUV. You infamously drove around. What was it without registration and a license, or you had a license, or I forgot to ask him. I wanted to ask him if he has a license and registration and all that. You did that for a long time, and
for 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, you're no stranger to these state challenges. It seems like at every opportunity, once they know of you, they put up any kind of roadblock. It's just no, you can't. Anytime you have to ask permission.
Well,
so,
and that's
Roger.
So he wanted to enter the U.S. to, I suppose, go to Ross Ulbricht's trial, which is the 13th. I think you're coming down and staying with me for that, right?
I am coming down.
Okay.
I will stay with you for at least one night, but.
Okay, great. So I can expect to see you, and that's really exciting. I mean, you and I have been doing activism together for 4 years or something, and so it's just one more link in the chain, and I suppose Roger wanted to come for that because he really supports Lynn Ulbricht, and he has done all this incredible fundraising for Ross's defense fund. And then a few days later, was to be the Miami Bitcoin conference where he is to be a speaker. So he is not a criminal. He was tried and convicted for selling what was ostensibly bomb-making materials back in the day, and he served 10 months in federal prison. So he's served his time, and he's a free man. And what was holding up his visa apparently was an IRS bill. So he took a photograph of the check that he wrote. I believe it was December 14th for $325,000 or something. And lo and behold, they cashed it, but they still said no, he can't come in.
Oh, man. Didn't he know that was going to happen?
Well, now that's what I wrote. So that was the backstory. What I want to get to is, I just lost you. Are we still on?
You lost me because I put this image up of Roger Ver in his most recent incarnation.
Yes, nice. That was a really funny little thing he did there.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute, but go on.
So my question, and what I would like to talk about, is it really seems to me that it has to come from one of three things. Either he was completely naive, thinking, oh, well, yeah, if I obey the law, then as ridiculous as the laws are, then they're going to allow me to play their game.
Right, because people like us were like, oh, I never want to comply, I don't want to comply, but then we might fall victim to the assumption that if we comply, we'll actually get what we want.
That doesn't happen, does it?
No.
No, because they changed the rules.
Right.
And so then the second point is it possible, and this is no way disparaging Roger, I mean, I certainly had a lot of money at one time, and I know how that can, it's not that you get drunk on it, it's just that there are so many loopholes for you, and you have so many special privileges. Of course, you just assume that that the rules don't apply to you, because most of the time they don't. Quite frankly, and not in the same way they do to people who don't have money. It's very discriminatory, so I was wondering if maybe possibly he thought, well, I'm able to pay for this. I can pay to have myself virtually in New York City via this webcam thingy. I can do this, I can do that. Of course, I'll just pay this and I'll go in, no problem. Which that I don't know that that's hubris, but rather just a condition of the loopholes that are created by the state in order to, have people with wealth circumvent the laws that they make for everyone else. Or is it, thirdly, that he's just simply a man of integrity, and so he presumes that people operate according to their word, whether they're government agents or not. And wouldn't we all like to, and he's correct. Most of us do. But the government doesn't. You don't go to prison for lying to me, Derek J., but you can go to prison for lying to a federal officer.
Them lying to us, of course, is perfectly...
They're doing their job.
Yeah, it's an important reminder. It's always good to remember that the government lies, steals, and that's it. That's their game. So
they produce nothing. They create nothing.
Yeah.
So my heart is broken for him.
Those foundational concepts, we lose sight of those sometimes. All right, hold those thoughts, Michelle. When we come back, I want to share this story. Roger Ver was recently spotted in New York City handing out Bitcoins. He was doing it via telescreen, like iPod form, or like a big iPad. What would you think if you saw one of these things floating around New York City?
On LRN.FM,
Yeah, that was so funny. I laughed out loud when I saw this image of him on that telescreen thing.
Yeah. Hey, is there a mobile app for Peace News Now?
A mobile app for like what?
I mean, I don't know if that's a mobile app. If someone wanted to watch you from their phone, would they go to YouTube? Would they go to peacenewsnow.com?
Yeah, they could go to peacenewsnow.com/live.
Okay.
And then there's a video screen on that. There's a video right there.
So can we talk a little bit more about the fact that we have this person who's so well respected within the Bitcoin community that is, I mean, if Roger Ver, if Jesus can't get away with something, does anyone else really think that it's quite obvious who the enemy is? And that we're on a very short leash.
Yes.
It's heartbreaking. I'm sure that my heart is really broken from him, but I'll save it for
All right.
on air.
And are you on, when you click the little microphone button, or the actually the settings gear, when you see the little microphone there, does that say Yeti? Are you using your Yeti? There we go.
I am now.
It just changed over. That made a difference.
Okay, I had done it in where it said devices, but I didn't realize I had to also do it where it says the gear.
That sounds so nice. It's like you're right in my ear.
Oh, now sugar.
Yeah. Now I'll take that sugar.
So how are you? I'm sad that I didn't see you over Christmas.
I'm great. Do you like my new Christmas shirt?
I do. Is that a light? I see a pink. Is that a pink stripe?
Yeah.
Along with the lavender and the purple?
Look how trippy this is when I get up close.
Oh, they're little polka dotty thingies. I love it. Oh my gosh.
Little polka dotty thingies. Check this out. Ready?
Oh, isn't that paisley fun? Or it's not really paisley, but I like it.
Like flowers.
Yes. Yes.
Got that on the cuffs too, which I like.
Yep, I see that. That's lovely. Oh, you've got the European cuffs there. Yes. You're so pretty.
Thank you. It was a gift from my stepfather, and I'm like, wow, he picked out an awesome shirt.
Yeah, he did. Good for him.
Good job.
Nice.
Yeah. So
how's Aunt Ricky?
Aunt Ricky's great. Oh my God! Did I tell you we went to the light show in Philadelphia? She went. We took her from the Commons and brought her to the light show, which we've been seeing. I don't know if you are familiar with this light show in Philly. It's been going on since like 100 years, and it's a man at an organ plays the same pieces of music every year. It used to go on every 15 minutes, and now it's like once every couple of hours. So it's packed down in the Macy's in Philadelphia, which used to be Wanamaker's. It was the largest department store at the time, and it's just really magical. Lots of kids were there, and she had an amazing time. She used to take my dad there when he was a baby, so it was really special for her. She's 96.
That's so fun. And did you take her to church for Christmas?
Yep. We took her to church and everything. Oh, we're coming back.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
Welcome back. This is Peace News, and I am so glad to be joined by Michele Seven, Bitcoin Belle on Twitter. You can follow her work. She's always doing something. Do you follow what's going on in Keene?
Do I follow what's going on in Keene? Well, let's see. I just saw James Cleveland's trial. I watched that on video. Cool. Where he was in district court with Judge Burke. I noticed that they got new tables.
Yeah,
so
they got a whole new building, Michele. That's a whole new building. Remember before they had the parking lot where we did our caroling, our Christmas chronic caroling.
Yes.
Parking lot of the original church building, court building, and they over top of that parking lot they built a whole new court building right on top of it. So
it's no longer on the square?
No, it's right there. It's still on the square. That building is still there. They didn't demolish it or anything. They just don't use it for anything, as far as I know. They use it like offices and stuff.
And people really, like, if you go to the video of where I was in court for one of my, my failure to register my vehicle and my boat and my trailer or whatever, people still comment on that a couple years later and talk about how horrible I am to have wasted the taxpayers' money. Really?
So we're talking about Bitcoin and Roger Ver and how he fell into the government trap of saying, oh, just comply. Here's the paperwork. Fill this out. Ba-ba-ba. And then we'll give you a visa. We'll give you what you want, access to the country so that you can attend this trial or do whatever you want to do. And he paid the money, actually took video of him sending this check for, what was it, $300,000?
$325,000, I think, yeah.
Yikes. Okay, so...
But this is someone who is adamantly, he's an anarchist. He's adamantly against a state, and he is very much against war. He is very much a proponent of Bitcoin, in my estimation, because for primarily two reasons. One, he owns the fruit of his labor, and two, he is against war. He makes posts. He puts posts up about Bitcoin being a currency of peace all the time. So I imagine that for him to write out that check, he was thinking, okay, how many lives is this going to cost in order for me? So there was some you sell your soul.
It had to be painful.
Yeah.
Sending a check is like cutting off a limb. To me, if a one that you don't want to send, like sending a $350,000 to a government that you don't consent to, that you're only paying off the same as you would a mafia don, and then to not even get anything for it, that is really painful. And I feel for him. It's hard. So what lessons do we learn from this? Never trust the government, and what? Accept your lot in life, that you just can't have things if you want them from the government. You still there, Michele? Did we lose you? Uh-oh. Can't hear what I am saying, according to Michele. We'll try and get reconnected with her in just a moment. I am not muted. I don't know what the problem is, but I'm going to eject her from this call, and then she will have an opportunity to jump back in if she wants. Anyway, let's turn to this story about Roger Ver and what he decided to do with some of his freedom as he sits in a comfortable desert island. He says, as most Bitcoin fans know, Roger Ver recently gave up his U.S. passport, so for the time being, he's unable to set foot on U.S. soil. His presence in the U.S., however, will not be stopped. While enjoying the sun on a Caribbean beach, Roger Ver simultaneously romped the streets of New York City, taking to the sites in the financial district, trying to convince unsuspecting bystanders to accept a few dollars in Bitcoin. And then there are even some pictures from his Twitter about it. I'll do a little screen share for you here. This is from Roger Ver's Twitter, @RogerVer. And he's got an image of what appears to be some pretty surprised bystanders. There's his machine. It looks like a tiny, what are those things called? A Segway, but without any handlebars and a little bit thinner and taller, so that there's a iPad that's positioned at the very top of a pole that's connecting it to this machine. It's got two wheels and it positions it straight up, so it's about at eye level. So here he is with his face on this screen and supposedly can give out Bitcoins. These people look pretty confused. Here he is, allegedly using the Coinspace.io double robotics robot. And here he is on a desert island, enjoying the curvature of the earth and the distant sights beyond. Just beautiful. So I admire Roger. He's a hero of mine. His courage and his ability to stand by his convictions are admirable. And let's return to the story from Cointelegraph. The Bitcoin giveaway was organized by Coinspace, which is an up-and-coming startup in Brooklyn, New York, looking to set up an incubator for cryptocurrency entrepreneurs. Recently, they've been trying to get prominent Bitcoin personalities to log onto an eye-catching gadget called the Double. The Double is a user-operated telepresence robot that allows users to participate in activities from anywhere with an internet connection. The self-balancing gadget was fully controlled by Roger Ver, and the looks of the New Yorkers watching Ver while attempting to beat the light across the street was very memorable. Solomon Lederer, co-founder of Coinspace, at one point asked Ver, "Hey, Roger, you ever played Frogger back in the day?" The Double basically creates an environment of being able to visit anywhere from the comfort of your own home. Just think of the application as being like attending classes from thousands of miles away, participating in seminars, roaming the streets of countries you're not able to visit, as in the case with Roger Ver, and still being able to interact with people in your office while out on assignments. So here it's got a diagram of the motorized height. You can sit or stand. You can also have the iPad or an iPad Air recommended. A wide-angle lens, a 6 to 8 hour battery, and a self-balancing unit on the bottom with a charging dock. So pretty cool. It's also got dual kickstands so you can park anywhere. Rad, man. So, oh, look, I didn't even notice. Looks like there's a video of him using this thing. Pretty cool. All right, so here he is walking on this thing. I don't know what this creepy music is in the background. Hopefully that goes away. But it looks like this was 3 days after Christmas. What a time to be giving away Bitcoin. Oh, and he's got a little like headset, so people are, oh, that's a smart idea. So people can walk up and actually listen to what he's saying. All right, we'll check out more of that video on the break, and then I'll maybe have more to present to you on that. But let's return to the article. It says that the giveaway itself was pretty successful. Anytime you can get a dozen people to listen to a Bitcoin elevator pitch and then watching them either download the wallet right there on their phone or accept an email, it puts a smile on your face. This particular giveaway took place near the World Trade Center Memorial, which had very high tourist foot traffic. This was not a one-off event. Other locations where these promotions have already taken place or will in the near future are Washington Square Park, Union Square, Highline, and many more. Lederer explains the goals of Coinspace. He says, going out And introducing Bitcoin to the public is one of the initiatives we've started that embodies what CoinSpace is trying to achieve, which is to educate and create a destination focused on Bitcoin development. We believe that with a dedicated collaborative workspace for Bitcoin, we can accelerate the innovation in the blockchain technology and services and bring them to the mainstream sooner. Once we're fully operational and have permanent space leased out, we would like to set some areas for those that are coming to New York City and need to do some work or have meetings while they're in town. Hopefully, these seasoned veterans will help guide some of our startups along the way with their prior experience. And then it's got the video of Roger Vere's epic adventure through New York City. We'll continue with that. It's such a strange sight, and this like creepy music in the background is no help. I think I could mute that. But I want to see him talk to people. I don't know if we can hear him though, because he relies on headphones. What are people saying? Here's one guy picking it up and trying to walk away with it. So this video only has like 300 views. I would expect way more. I mean, let's hope this go viral, guys. Maybe it's the weird, creepy music. It sounds so sad and scary. It should be happy. See, here like peace news music. That's happy. We can look forward to a peaceful future where people trade in Bitcoin and gold and silver and other cryptocurrencies. We can have peace and freedom today by trading in free currencies like Bitcoin. All right, we'll be right back with hour 2 of Peace News. We're going to interview some people who got arrested for holding guns.
It's the Onion Radio News. A family of 5 is found alive in the suburbs. This is Doyle Redland reporting. The Holzapfel family, long feared missing or spiritually dead, was found alive in the Chicago suburb of Buffalo Grove today, somehow managing to survive in the hostile environment for more than 8 years. Rescuers discovered the 5-person clan after a survey plane spotted a signal fire from a barbecue grill. To protect themselves from the elements during their long ordeal, the Holzapfels fashioned a 3-bedroom ranch-style lean-to with brick facing and white aluminum siding. Paramedic Mary Gill was first on the scene.
They were all suffering from severe cultural malnutrition.
The Holzapfels have been returned to civilization for now, though trips to the Art Institute of Chicago and a nice Peruvian restaurant intended to reacquaint them with urban living have been met with confusion and resistance. Doyle Redland for the Onion Radio News, online at theonion.com.
Instead of just listening, you can also watch. See the Liberty Radio Network's key New Hampshire-based live shows via our studio cam at cam.lrn.fm. Plus, you'll still be able to listen to the Liberty Radio Network via the cam feed in high quality 24/7, even when there's no live show being produced in our Keene studio. But wait, there's more. Our chat room is built into the cam page so you can interact with other listeners online. Listen, watch, and chat, all free at cam.lrn.fm. That's cam.lrn.fm.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Ovaltine. Give your kids the nutrition they need to be their best. Visit us at ovaltineusa.com. Telling your child about healthy food choices is important, but showing her what to eat goes a lot further. Have her help create the grocery list, then bring her to the store with you. Picking out healthy foods together helps kids get in the habit of thinking about what they're eating every day. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
More Peace News Now is coming up next, live after the news, here on the Liberty Radio Network, LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Tuesday, January 6th, 2015. Silver is trading at $16.26 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,211 per ounce. And according to BitcoinAverage.com, the average price of Bitcoin is $276. Antiwar.com reports just days after the Israeli government announced it is seizing some $100 million in tax money from the Palestinian Authority to punish them for trying to join the International Criminal Court, the Israeli state-run electric company has announced it will cut off electricity supplies to the Palestinians for non-payment. The Israeli electric company claims the Palestinian Authority owes about $160 million for past shipments and that the company can't keep sending the Palestinians electricity that they can't pay for. The electric company warned Israeli military and spy agencies of the planned cuts, saying it fears cutting off the electricity to Palestinian territory would lead to various responses by the Palestinian population. That's putting it mildly, because even though the $100 million Israel stole from the Palestinians over the weekend isn't going to the Israeli electric company, which is itself owned by the Israeli government, one can't help but notice that it is a...
Hey, welcome back, Michelle.
I'm back. I don't know what happened.
I'm sorry about that.
Did you censor me and shut me up?
I think I did by accident, though. So when you bounce someone from a Google Hangouts, it says like, do you want to block this person? And I think it like hovers. So first it's like,
why did you bounce me? I didn't use the swear word or anything.
I'm sorry. It was like, do you want to wait? Oh, I bounced you because you were muted. So I was like, oh, maybe if I bounce her out, she'll try and jump back in.
Oh.
And
could you hear me? Because I couldn't hear you. All of a sudden, like your sound was gone for me.
Weird. I don't know why, because the broadcast kept going.
Yay! Well, your mouth kept going, so I'm like, the show must go on. Yeah, champ.
Yeah, it always does. So we're going to interview in the next segment. We can continue talking about what you're talking about. By the way, Jeff for Justice responded in the comments section to this video already, saying that he does have a license, and he wants to know how you were able to do it. He's under the impression that you didn't have a license, which I think is incorrect. You did have a license.
No, for a year and a half, 2 different times, I didn't have a license.
Okay.
However, I succumbed, just like, whatever, and went ahead and got one because when I was denied my passport renewal, I couldn't, I can't get on a plane. I can't, I need to have some sort of ID. So I went ahead and got a driver's license. But I smiled in it, and you're not supposed to smile on them, and I have a big smile. That was my big FU.
Bad.
I know. What did she do? What was her biggest act of civil disobedience? She smiled.
You know, they were getting on me about smiling for court. In court, I wasn't allowed to smile in court. Concealed carry license. It means that
we will have no joy.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. Like, you're really gonna use that against me? Like, he's smiling. That means he's violent. Really?
Are there going to be grades of it? Like, it's a one dimple smile, it's eye twinkly smile, it's a smirk, it's a toothless smile, it's a grin.
It was a he's up to something smile.
Oh well.
I don't know. No, they didn't say that.
Yeah.
So I want to interview this guy. I don't know. He says he's ready. Does that work? We only have like 2 more minutes before we gotta connect.
I'm sorry, I wasn't able to hear you before. So who's this being interviewed?
So this guy coming up is.
I should get in the chat probably so I can say hi to all my minions, huh?
Yeah, sign into the chat. Although a lot of them disappeared, they probably were waiting for you earlier, and then I don't know.
Yeah.
Some of them disappeared during this.
What's the best way to go to the chat, from Peace News Now or from
peacenewsnow.com/live, or you can go to lrn.fm.
Yeah, okay, because I usually go LRN, but yeah. Anyway, so. And so this person that is coming up to be interviewed is who? What?
Yeah, let me get his name correct here, because he's got a few different names. A lot of these people on the internet.
Don't we all?
These activists have a million names. All right, so here's this guy.
Can you hear my key taps?
Yeah, I can hear those. Sorry. You can hit the mute button when you want to type.
I will do that.
Mute button on your mic.
I will do that. So, okay, so you are coming down to New York for the trial. And, I mean, I suppose it could last, a couple months.
Oh, my God. Well,
Oh, yeah. This isn't going to be like it's a 2-day thing. So I was planning on going the 13th and the 14th, and then I'm going down to Miami.
All right, hold that thought. We're coming back.
Yep.
This is Peace News. Welcome back. It is Hour 2. We're live this Tuesday, January 6th, 2015. Michele Seven is back on the line with us. She was rudely interrupted by science and technology failing. We were talking about Bitcoin, and specifically Bitcoin Jesus, Roger Ver, and how he's facing difficulty with the state. Even though he kissed the ring and paid the money, the IRS said, thanks for all the money, now go screw. And this upset you, Michele. I don't have Michele back on the line anymore? Oh, all right. This is so weird because last time we were broadcasting with Michele, she just lost it. Like, I don't know, just sound just disappeared. Maybe she's still got her microphone muted. I don't know. But I'm returning to a story about some folks in Arlington because this has been happening. Yeah, she's back. I can hear her typing. She's in the background, and at any point she might just join in. Well, anyway, a couple of people in Texas were arrested for carrying guns, and I think this is ridiculous because, of course, in New Hampshire you can walk around carrying guns with no difficulty, no permission necessary from the government. But as the Daily Beast reported, libertarian-leaning open carry advocates in Arlington, Texas, operate in a loose sort of alliance, staking out DUI checkpoints and following leads from police scanner chatter to observe the police in action and assert their legal rights. Just as the Black Panthers patrolled 1960s Oakland openly armed, the Texas citizens often bring their guns along when they go cop watching. And here's a picture of one of them, Jacob Cordova. Sometimes, as happened last week, the Texas advocates wind up getting arrested. Here, Jacob Cordova said he'd pulled over to record a traffic stop, and police arrested him for illegally carrying a handgun in the open, something that would be perfectly legal here in New Hampshire. That's illegal under Texas law, but Cordova maintains his handgun is a pre-1899 black powder pistol and is thus permitted. It's a pending investigation, and they ended up... Wait a minute, did I just hear Michele clear her throat? Hey, Michele. No? Not even going to try? Dang. Well, it's a pending investigation. They ended up changing charges from a firearm charge to disrupting police business charge that is a Class B misdemeanor. We have great evidence, and I will fight it to the end, he says. Video of the arrest was posted to YouTube by the Open Carries group leader, Corey Watkins, and the footage shows Cordova challenging police very openly with his displayed weapon. Of course, it's not the first time Cordova was arrested. The Blaze reported that he was arrested during a 2013 Veterans Day rally. Open carry advocates may be copying Black Panther tactics, but a racial divide persists in the armed challenge to law enforcement. Armed black groups like the Huey P. Newton Gun Club in South Dallas have risen up, challenging police as much as the Arlington cop watchers do. But efforts to bring black and white open carry anti-authority elements together have been less than successful. Take a look at some of these photos from the Huey P. Newton Gun Club, tweeting out at Huey Gun Club. They say, "It's a time for martyrs now, and if I'm to be one, it would be for the cause of brotherhood."
What do you think about that?
That doesn't look very peaceful, although they look kind of angry. They're wearing all black, and they look kind of military-esque. I don't know. Certainly within their right, but it looks a little frightening to me. What do you think? In July, when Open Carry Texas announced a planned armed walk through Houston's majority black 5th Ward, let's see. They were blocked and threatened by the new Black Panthers, who told them they were not welcome in the community and they would be matched, quote, gun for gun. Looks like Michele Seven has shared a link with us from IntelliHub. Also published today, the headline, Gun Rights Open Carry Activists Plan to Manufacture Firearms on the Steps of the State Capitol. Whoa, that's an even bigger story. All right, so changing gears here. Whoa. Using the Ghost Gunner machine, activists plan to draw awareness to the public. By Shepard Ambellis. Here's Austin, Texas. Members of Come and Take It, Texas, that's C-A-T-I, plan to exercise their God-given rights by literally manufacturing firearms on the steps of the state capitol building, January 13th. Wow. The event will run from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., and all gun rights activists and freedom lovers are welcome to attend in support of the constitutional open carry bill. It's HB 195, if you want to look it up. Members of Come and Take It plan to use the Ghost Gunner to literally manufacture AR-15 lowers on site. Wow, that takes balls. I mean, what are they? Is that even legal? Are they going to face arrest, or are they just going to show that they can do this and it's pointless to make new laws? Constitutional open carry bill. They're really making a statement here that, like, politicians, they can't control you. They want to try. They want to make all these rules and say, oh, if you want to carry a gun, you have to ask permission, and if you want to have a gun, you have to follow all these steps, and like they try and put all these barriers between people and their freedom. But then with technology like the Ghost Gunner machine, you can literally manufacture AR-15 lowers on the steps of the Capitol building. Wow. So according to the CATI's website, in the last year and a half, Texas gun rights groups all over the Lone Star State have walked, assembled, and engaged in humanitarian efforts, all while open carrying their long guns and black powder pistols. This has succeeded in educating the public as well as law enforcement to show that the presence of firearms in public is not only safe, but highly supported. For more details and updates, please visit Come and Take It's website. Now, do we have Michele Seven? Is she back in the room with us?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
I sure can. Thanks for joining us. So
I don't know what's going on, but anyway.
That's all right. You shared this story with us, which is awesome. How did you hear about this? Just fell on your Twitter radar?
I follow the designer of the Ghost Gunner, Cody Wilson, on Twitter.
Yeah.
And he and you, Christoph Atlas, and there are like probably a half a dozen people that I check in on daily to see what they're doing, because it's there's always a lot going on. I used to follow Amir Taki, but he hopped off back when during the fappening, when the celebrities got hacked, and he just didn't want to be a part of that censorship and everything. So he posted something, and he's the designer of the Ghost Gunner, and I don't know if he's just advertising for them or if he's going to be present for that. I have no idea.
What do you think the police are going to do?
Well, I mean, look what they did with Adam Kokesh, right?
But he wasn't building guns on the steps of the Capitol building.
No, but he was. Well, I don't know. Should we go down out there and should I melt some spoons? I mean, they use spoons. You use a spoon not only to eat, and more people die of obesity in this country than they do guns. I mean, you also melt crack and whatever else in a spoon.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Should we?
We should get rid of all the spoons.
Get rid of the spoons.
Yeah. That's a great idea. So no, I really think this will have the effect of like making the right people angry. There's some people who need to be sort of shaken out of their stupor.
Okay, so let's go back to that.
Manufacturing weapons while suggestive is a peaceful act.
Okay, so I think it was Fort Sumter, I believe it was, where the shot that was heard around the world. was a reference to in the beginning of the War of Independence or Revolutionary War, or whatever you choose to call it. Is it going to wake people from their stupor? I'm not sure that people are really engaged enough to have it affect them in that way. I don't think it's quite time.
Are you in the Austin area? January 13th, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. You know where to be.
Are you a political activist who does things that the government might not like?
Yes. I gotta get some water. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Provocateur, narcs, finks,
Don't go away.
Rats was written by OG libertarian Claire Wolfe. Rats is a short book, easy to read, and available free in many formats. Download Rats free at rats-nosnitch.com. That's rats-nosnitch.com.
What if the key to achieving liberty in your lifetime was to move together with others who think like you? Liberty activists are joining the Free State Project, which is over 70% of the way to its goal of 20,000 participants. And they're already making the move to New Hampshire. The successes are piling up and are proving the Free State Project is a real movement and no longer just a great idea. When you're planning your move, consider Keene. Keene is famous for its civil disobedience and non-cooperation, and there's plenty of political opportunity as well. From demonstrations and vigils to outreach and volunteering, there's a lot going on in Keene. Keene is the liberty media capital of the world, with television, talk radio, and more.
You want to take a call?
I think that'd be great.
All right, let's do it. I watched Private Parts last night for the first time.
I don't know what that is.
That is the 1997 Howard Stern mini documentary. Let's see. Hey, Sleepy Salsa, you're on. We're not live though.
Oh, okay. All right. Cool. Hey, Derek.
Hey, what's up?
I was mainly wanting to call in about the gun thing you were just talking about, as well as something about Bitcoin that you may or may not know about. So.
Ooh. Okay. Hold those thoughts.
Sure.
And Michelle, we've got 2 minutes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I like this. So if we, what was that?
I have no idea. I didn't get mail.
Weird. So yeah, if we lose connection again, whatever you're doing is working.
Okay.
Back in. So
I wonder if that you got mail thingy is from the chat. Oh, it says that I have a 1 in 5 chance to win an iPhone 5.
Wow, you better take that chance.
Oh, God.
If I've learned anything about the internet.
That's on your website.
But, oh, really? I have what? What do I have on my website?
It's you have the chance to win an iPhone 5. It's just above. It's where the chat is.
That's funny. I use AdBlock, so I don't even remember putting ads on my website.
It's an onlinewardcenter.com. Whatever.
Good. I'm making money on that. Like if I'm putting ads on my website, I better be making some money.
Oh my gosh, Derek Horton, can you be shaken out of your stupid her and stop talking on dumbbells? What? Someone thought that I didn't know my history. I had to send them a link. I mistakenly said
Boston Strong. Do you know who Boston Strong is?
I have no idea.
That's the man. So I doubt this is really the real Boston Strong, but he plays this character in the chat room. Boston Strong is the guy who is the neighbor of the KAC. He lives around the corner, like 3 doors down. He hates Keene activists, and he's made himself into a Chuck warrior.
Should I send him a picture of my titties?
No, don't reward him. Actually, no, you might want to reward him. He's a funny troll. All right, we're coming back, and we're going to take Sleepy Sauce's call.
Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
Hey, welcome back to Peace News. We'll take your calls about open carry activism, getting arrested, disobeying the authorities, peacefully, of course. Sleepy Salsa joins us from Skype. You can do the same by sending a contact request to Peace News Now. So what's on your mind, Sleepy Salsa? Oh, I had you muted. Again. Sorry, try that one more time.
Hey, Derek. Thanks for bringing me on. It's good to be with you again.
Yeah, rock on, man.
I was listening to what you were mentioning about both open carry and Bitcoin. I'd like to address the one topic first. Now, a lot of people, when I tell them that Texas has a lot of gun control, they really don't believe me because they have this imagery in their minds of Texas being this free and open place. And in some ways it still is, but not when it comes to firearms.
Yeah, man, you're wrong. You don't know what you're talking about. I've been fed propaganda. I know what it's like.
And the funny thing is, all you have to do is read the government's own laws. In the Texas Constitution, Article 1, Section 23, it says, quote, "Every citizen shall have the right to keep and bear arms in the lawful defense of himself or the state, but," watch out for those buts, "but the legislature shall have power by law to regulate the wearing of arms with a view to prevent crime," close quote. So that's part of the reason why we don't have open carry of handguns down here in Texas. The other part of the reason, too, statutorily, is in the Texas Penal Code, Section 46.02, where it basically says anything with, that's a handgun, a firearm you can use with one hand that's short and all that. You can't really carry that around openly too much. And so that's why a lot of people in the past had pushed for concealed carry. But technically, you could arguably open carry long guns like rifles and shotguns, but then unfortunately people kind of get uppity and call the police, and next thing you know, it's a disorderly conduct issue, much like what happened to those 3 guys at that Starbucks in San Antonio last year.
So why is this important to you?
It's important to me because firearms have been described as liberty's teeth. And if we're going to be advocates of liberty, then I would assume we have a regular dental exams, and that's kind of like where the idea of the militia came from and so forth, as well as committees of safety, which is what the founders did of both America and Texas.
Founders, were they lost? Why? Can we stop calling them founders, please?
Well, it would take a while to list them all. I mean, Benjamin Franklin.
Oh, no. Okay, then you're going to have to call them usurpers because the Native Americans were here first. I mean, come on.
She's got a point.
Well,
I'm giving you a hard time, honey. Just carry on.
What about the language of calling the founders the usurpers? I think I could make that replacement in my head.
Thank you.
Many of them were classical liberals, much like I am, and I would suspect much of your listenership is, but I wasn't really prepared to talk about that. The other thing, though, that's kind of interesting is that not many people know that also in the Texas Penal Code, Section 9.31, it actually describes that you can pretty much use a level of force to repel the unlawful force of, let's say, a police officer and so forth. Now,
that worked really well in Waco now, didn't it?
Actually, many people have said that was actually the legal justification for why the Branch Davidians were not actually criminals and should not have died at the hand of the FBI and ATF. Now, sure, you're kind of broaching the pragmatic side of it, and that would be a discussion about guerrilla warfare. But legally, anyway, since I think Derek was mentioning about what the laws were, that's pretty much what it says. So, but yes, there is a legal reason why we don't have open carry in Texas, which is rather unfortunate. So,
what about you? Do you carry?
Not as of lately. I haven't really found a need to. But then again, when it comes to self-defense, there are more tools in the toolbox than just simply firearms, and that's all I'm willing to say publicly. I would like to change the subject, if you don't mind, to Bitcoin. You mentioned something about that earlier. Okay, Bitcoin Magazine ran an article last year. This was on August 29th of 2013. It was written by Elizabeth Plauché, P-L-O-S-H-A-Y. Plauché. The headline read, "Regulators taking a hiatus to learn a bit more about Bitcoin." Plauché went on to basically mention how the Bitcoin Foundation had a behind-the-doors, almost a secret meeting, almost a little bit like Jekyll Island, the impression that I got, with the federal government. In fact, it says here at one point, regulators include high-level representatives from FinCEN, that's the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, from FinCEN, IRS, FDIC, the Federal Reserve, OCC, FBI, DEA, Secret Service, DHS, and more. So, Derek,
all those alphabet acronym thingies, it's just so, I just get so confused. It's just so much for my head to take.
Sure, it is too much government. But Derek, what do you think about that? That the Bitcoin Foundation having secret behind closed doors meetings with not just the federal government in general, but like specifically like what Bitcoin would be competing against, like the Federal Reserve, the IRS, and FinCEN.
Wait, I want to know what you think about it because you seem really upset about it, and I don't really give a flip.
Michelle doesn't care what I think. What do you think?
No, I don't. I do care what you think, but he's so upset about this, and he's like, Bitcoin, what's going to happen?
You're hot on the mic. Go for it.
Okay, well, I don't know. I mean, this kind of, I mean, other than this one article, I haven't really seen a lot of videos or many podcasts or much of anybody else even mentioning this one article, and I haven't really seen any other publications mentioning what seems to me to be a secret behind closed doors meeting that would be evocative of Jekyll Island. So, I mean, do you think that they could... I'm sorry?
It means nothing. The difference is Jekyll Island, there were two things. There was a 16th Amendment, and there was also a federally regulated currency. Whereas with Bitcoin, it's not regulated, and there are anonymizations of that, so they can go ahead and try to regulate. As much attention as you pay to that, though, you're just giving them a sense of entitlement and as well as revealing your own position. I say just ignore them.
Okay, well, I just kind of got the impression that the Bitcoin Foundation was selling out all the Bitcoiners, and I just thought that maybe, there should be some public discussion about this before something worse happens. Just me being cautious more than anything.
How can they sell? I mean, how are they going to sell me out? How are they going to sell you? How are they going to sell Derek out? Who do they have to sell out? Themselves? The people that are members of the Bitcoin Foundation? Let them have it.
Well, in any case, Derek, I just wanted to kind of chime in about those things, and thank you.
Want to talk to me, Derek.
I appreciate it, Sleepy Salsa. Thank you for making the call. And joining us now is one such open carry activist from Texas. Hey, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, how's it going, Derek? My name is Pablo Frias, and I'm calling from Arlington, Texas.
Awesome. And you were just recently in the news, Pablo. Why?
I was. I actually found out yesterday that we went a little bit international there with the Daily Mail in UK. And we were on there specifically because we do some cop watch and open carry at the same time.
Are you part of Cop Block?
Think more about that after these words from our sponsors. Pablo caught my attention because he's willing to watch the police in a pretty unusual way. And one I wish more people would follow. We can do it here in New Hampshire. It's legal. But in Texas, they've got all of these complications from the politicians. We'll hear more about that when Peace News returns. Hey, we take a 4-minute break right now, Pablo. And so you got some time to collect your thoughts. How you doing? Thanks for setting up Google Hangouts, by the way. Is this your first Google Hangout?
It is, actually.
Cool. Thanks for joining us. It's pretty easy, right?
Yeah, for some reason on the iPad I had the mic and camera off, so it wouldn't let me join the conversation.
Oh, okay, yeah, probably was like, we don't know how to handle that, but that's cool. Right. I'm glad it worked out, and you look good, sound good, so good here. Michele Seven is our other co-host, so hi, Michelle.
Hi.
This is Pablo.
How do you do, Pablo?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
I'm great, thank you.
Are you also in New Hampshire, or are you co-hosting somewhere else?
I'm somewhere else. Derek and I lived near each other in New Hampshire, and but no, now I'm presently in New Jersey.
All right. Well, your guy was over here at our stadium actually this past Sunday.
Don't say he's the sales guy. Are you talking about Chris Christie?
I don't even want to say his name.
I call him. I can't say the word. Am I allowed to say the F word right now?
Yeah.
I call him Chris McFuck Christie, but yeah. So No, he is just an anathema. He reminds me of Jabba the Hutt.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, he is like Jabba the Hutt. That's funny.
No, I'm an anarchist, so I don't really stand behind any candidate to I have not met a man that can lead me yet, but boy, when I do, oh yowza.
He won't be a politician.
Yeah, no, he won't.
No.
I
got some offers in the chat room though.
Yeah. Speaking of sleazy politicians who hit on ladies, I was looking at all of the collection of photos from Joe Biden, like snuggling up against women on the campaign trail. It is so creepy. He does this a lot. Like, I don't think there are pictures of Lindsey Graham or other, like Dennis Kucinich or other politicians doing this. But Joe Biden, man, he gets his hands all over those ladies. It's creepy.
He looks like a creeper, like big time, man.
Yeah.
Speaking of Joe Biden and Waco and Texas, Pablo, I'm not sure how old you are. I'm 47, and I was pregnant with my second child when Waco occurred in 1993, in April of 1993, and so that was, I had already been an activist at that point. I wasn't a Texan, but I was a liberty activist, and I don't know if you saw the video that came out a few years ago, and it's just kind of recently recircled around Twitter and everything, but it's like a 2.5 hour video of the hearings regarding the ATF and the FBI. But Joe Biden was on that, essentially saying that there was no culpability and they got what was coming to them, and that wasn't even what was the worst thing. What was so heinous was I think he was FBI. Anyway, he was either FBI or ATF saying, well, we sent the gas into the one place where we knew the women and children would be, and we did that on purpose, because we were certain that those mothers loved their children enough that they would get them out of there. What kind of mother wouldn't save her kid from being gassed?
Yeah. That was
it makes my skin crawl. Sickening.
Yeah.
Hey, hold your thoughts, guys. We are coming back.
At 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
You can watch the LRN Studio Cam and chat with other listeners anytime at cam.lrn.fm. That's cam.lrn.fm.
Hey, welcome back. This is Peace News. We're live. It's Tuesday, January 6th, 2015. So if you're listening on that date, you can call in. It is 443-424-8347 to get on the air, or hit up Peace News Now on Skype. We're joined by Pablo, what is your last name?
Frias,
who is making international news. Recently, The Guardian reported, and I'll do a little screen share for those of you who are watching online. Headline, NRA calls open carry Texas activist demonstrations weird and scary. Radical gun rights advocates in Texas accuses NRA of siding with gun control extremists after NRA criticized groups' publicity stunts. And here you can see an image of a few people holding guns in a 7-Eleven. They're not holding them, they're wearing them on their back. They're long guns. And some are up in the air, some are down pointed at the ground. Some people at the NRA find this scary. What do you think about it, Pablo?
I think I can definitely understand how someone might find it scary, just because we have a sense of fear anyway for many years now. And when someone sees a gun, they automatically think, oh my God, there's going to be another shooting. I mean, a Columbine, a Colorado, Rural Colorado. So I can definitely understand that. But what we're trying to do is educate the public on gun rights, and specifically here in Texas, how it's absurd that you can carry an AK-47, an AR-15, but you can't carry a 1911, openly. So it's just a ridiculous law, and it's just to inform and educate people on gun rights is all it is.
Yeah, I like that you're doing that because here in New Hampshire, people are used to seeing people with guns. So if I were to walk around, and I did used to walk around with a gun on my hip, no one ever had a problem with that. Even the police who arrested me over 5 times within the span of 6 months for, recording them and throwing a dance party, they arrested me for crazy shit, but not for holding a gun or not for having a gun. And that's just accepted here. But in Texas, that's not the case. And so you're changing the culture by giving people an example of encounters with people with guns that go perfectly normally. Like, I saw a guy with a gun in a 7-Eleven. He bought a coffee and then left, and it was fine. I mean, people need those examples in their real life in order to normalize the behavior so that they're not afraid. Because I feel like people's exposure to guns is in the movies or on TV, and people are dying, and it's on the news, and people are dying. They don't see people with guns enough.
Right. Right. And that's exactly what the thing is. That people are scared, but there's a lot of people out there that. I'll give you an example. We were out in Fort Worth, Texas, about a couple weeks ago. We were on a full film day, and we basically go out and do a couple of what activists do. I mean, we try to either film police. We try to. We were in Fort Worth, and we were meter feeding right there where the courthouse is at, while openly carrying. We happened to walk into a Taco Bell for lunch. We walked in, and I had my AR-15. The guys had SKS, AK-47 black powder pistol, which is legal in Texas. It's not considered a firearm. It's an antique. Anything pre-1899 is considered an antique and not a firearm. So you can openly carry that. We walk in, and we order, and people are kind of looking, and they're a little worried. We sit down, and a gentleman asks, "Hey, man, you mind if I ask, why are you guys carrying so many guns?" And so we began talking with them and informing them about the laws. And readily enough, they were surprised at the laws, and they were happy that we were law-abiding citizens. We weren't threatening. They shook our hands. We gave them information, and we went on our way. I mean, it's that easy.
So recently, one of the activists with the group was arrested, Jacob Cordova, for having what he alleges is a pre-1899 black powder pistol, as you said, which is lawful. But the police arrested him anyway. Of course, they don't really know the difference, and I'm sure they would arrest him anyway, even if they did know the difference. So what I want to know is who's going to be the first person to open carry a 1911 or a normal gun and just say, yeah, I did it. It shouldn't be a crime.
Well, this is where it kind of, and this is what you might see in the news, where a couple of groups for open carry have kind of parted ways. I don't like affiliating myself with a certain group because I'm a Texan, I'm an American, and that's basically where that ends.
Yeah.
I advocate for them. I go to their rallies and I go to their marches, but I don't necessarily like names. Because at the end of the day, the goal is to get legislation passed so that it's legal to, common sense constitutional carry.
I would hope the goal is to get legislation repealed.
Well, that's what constitutional carry would be, basically.
Yeah.
And it's the Second Amendment. Constitutional carry. There's a House bill right now, House Bill 195, that we're actually going to go for a march in Austin next week, January 13th. And it's basically kind of a repeal of gun laws because it's a constitutional carry bill, which means whatever the Constitution says, which is openly carry, there's no registration, no licensing, it's constitutional carry is what we're rooting for. But to go on the Cordova incident, that day, I was also arrested that day as well. But before I was even arrested, we pulled up to a cop watch. And we were filming, and a police officer came up to one of our guys' wives who was openly carrying her black powder pistol, and the officer knew exactly what she was wearing. So it's not that the police officer couldn't tell the difference, because here in Arlington, they know who we are, they know us by name, and they know what we're wearing, and it's long arms and black powder pistol. So it's a little weird here in Arlington. It's 350,000 residents. And our police department is pretty tyrannical. Let's just leave it like that. They're tyrants.
So sometimes you can make a statement by towing the line of the law, by going right up against to the line, but not crossing it, not breaking the law. Like what you guys are doing seems to be sort of in that vein, where you're like, look, these are the things that I can do within the law, and I'm not breaking any laws. But I would really like to be able to carry my 1911 and look like a normal guy. So I would hope that someone would challenge the law, because the way I see it, politicians aren't motivated enough on their own to just write some bill and then get something passed. It needs to be done in the courts where they're like, once upon a time these politicians wrote a bad law and that needs to go.
Right.
So I want to see someone, you know, I'm not saying it has to be you or Jacob or any person in particular, but I want to see somebody openly violate this law. What would be the penalty if someone were to carry a 1911 instead of a black powder pistol?
Well, I mean, it has to be concealed because you don't have a license and it's not concealed. And I don't know the exact. I'm gonna sound pretty.
No, I'm
ignorant.
talking about openly. What would be the crime if somebody strapped a 1911 to his hip and wore it openly?
I'd be lying if I told you. I know for a fact that don't quote me, but I believe it's a felony charge to openly carry a pistol.
Yeah.
In the state of Texas. Now, going on what you're saying though. I would love to see for multiple amounts of people to do it at the same time.
Yes.
Not just one.
I think that
person can be arrested, beat up, thrown in jail for, with bogus charges. But like they did in, was it in D.C. that they went and did the civil disobedience where it was more than 1,000 individuals who went out there with their weapons? I believe it was D.C. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Where was it? What happened? Sorry, I'm
DC was more than 1,000 people. Civil disobedience with weapons because it's illegal to.
Oh, no, that was Washington State. That was an Olympia. Yeah.
There you go.
Hell no, not Washington D.C. Oh my God, it'd be the end of the world.
Maybe I was dreaming. I was hoping for Washington D.C. But anyway, along with what you're saying is just that I wish it was civil disobedience with thousands of people.
Numbers make a difference, man, no doubt. That's the reason I believe in the Free State Project, an idea to move 20,000 liberty-loving people to the same geographic location of New Hampshire. It's already gotten started. You can learn more at freestateproject.org. More with Pablo when we come back. This is Peace News.
Can you hear me, Derek?
Yes, I can.
Could you hear me trying to interject before?
No.
How interesting. That's really weird.
What? What's the difference?
Nothing on my end. I have no idea.
Weird.
I think that the government's trying to shut me up. My phone calls, you should hear what is going on with the tick-tick of my phone. Ugh. So, Pablo, can I ask you something?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I didn't know if you were still there because it looked like you disappeared. But so I appreciate that you call yourself a Texan and an American. I would call myself neither a Jersey girl nor an American, quite frankly, but just Michelle or Bitcoin Belle or Derek J's Flame Dame. Or
I want to interject your question with the knowledge for you, Michelle, that Pablo is facing criminal charges and will probably be a little bit reserved in the way he speaks.
Okay. Well, thank you for letting me know that.
Yeah, it's something you probably couldn't share as freely as I can, so I thought I would know that.
Okay, well, I appreciate that. So, do you personally think that you derive your right to keep and bear arms from the Constitution? Do you believe that that's a God-given right because you're a human being and you have the right to defend yourself? Do you believe? Okay, so, all right. I just was curious about that.
Yeah, no, our rights are God-given, inalienable. I mean, they're our rights, and the Constitution just merely restates them. I mean, we're all human beings, so I can agree with your point of view as far as an anarchist. I do think we need a little bit of government just because things really do.
How much?
Very little.
I see you have pictures of children. Are you married?
I am. Yes, I am.
Has your wife ever been a little bit pregnant?
A little. Yeah, of course. At the beginning. And
Just
then she was
a little
pregnant.
Yeah, okay, but so she either was or she wasn't, right? And
Right.
if you've ever lost a baby, you know the difference between how devastating it can be to be and then not be. So it's a distinct difference. So a little bit of government, I just ask people, and I've said this for years, if you can take it back to where in the last 200 and however many years, at what point would you find the adherence to the Constitution and how the laws were maintained and the justice system upheld? Where in history would you say was the ideal and the honestly, I'd say never.
No. No, not. I mean, it's never been perfect. I think the closest we've been to anything where we were free, if anything, it was before the Constitution was ratified here in the States.
Hey,
So
Matt.
under the Articles of Confederation.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Well, my two favorite founders, I got into a little bit of a thing with the last caller. I didn't like him saying founders. I teased him.
Someone in the chat had a good suggestion. They said the fraudsters, the founding fraudsters.
Yeah. So I liked Sam Adams and Patrick
Henry?
Yeah, and both of them walked out of the signing of the Constitution and said, basically go to hell.
Yeah.
This isn't why we did this.
Sam Adams walked out of the signing of the Constitution. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and Patrick Henry, who gave the famous speech, said, hell with all of you.
That's awesome. Wait a minute.
Well,
Hold
because
on.
the Constitution, what it was just centralized is what it is. That's what happened. More central government.
Hold that thought. We're coming back.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air, and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Welcome back. You're listening to the final segment of Peace News here on LRN.FM, the Liberty Radio Network. We're chatting with Pablo. He is facing criminal charges. Oh, man. We haven't talked about what he was arrested for yet, but we're talking about, more broadly, the concept of open carrying, wearing a firearm openly so as to display it. Everyone around you can see it. What's the point of doing that, Pablo?
Just educating the public to know their gun rights, for them to, specifically here in Texas. I like to talk about Texas just because I'm local here. I can only do what I can do in my community.
Right.
But at Texas, it's just you cannot carry a pistol. You can only carry a long gun. So
How
we're
long
just
has
trying
it been like that? Because people have this impression of Texas, like everyone walks around with a holster, but that hasn't been true. For how long?
I'm 26 years old. It's been my entire life.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't have a specific date. I was trying to look up the penal code for carrying a firearm, but my phone is
Penal. It's so funny that penal, everything like that. It's yeah. So you're 26 years old, and I'm 47. So I've been an activist longer than you've been alive, and I am curious about something. Are you aware that Texas entered into the Union under treaty, and was the only state to have done so?
Yes.
Have you seen anywhere where Texas flies its state flag higher than the U.S. flag? Have you seen that in your lifetime?
I have seen it, but mostly it's level with the state, the United States.
It's the only state that's allowed to do that because of the treaty. So my question is, why are all y'all? You like that? All y'all? Why are all y'all even paying attention, and why not take all of that energy and effort into exiting the U.S. at this point?
Honestly, and I'll be blunt. I'm known for being blunt because we have a bunch of cowards that live in this state. One person, 5 people, 10 people cannot overturn or change the minds of all these people. Texas, the largest state in the union by treaty. There's just so many people, and I mean, we can go on.
But all y'all are so proud with the stars at night are big and bright, deep in the heart of Texas.
Yeah. I know.
You're born and bred on the Lone Star or whatever. So why is it that there isn't this milieu and this like desire to be great again, you know?
The desire is there for most. It's the willingness that's not there. It's to put yourself out there, be arrested, put your face on international news.
Do you know that those founding fathers, when people talk about the Tea Party and how they dumped all of that tea over into the Boston Harbor, not realizing that tea was an integral part of the day. Having tea was hugely, that was the gathering time for all of the family members. It was the central part of the day. And because they didn't have tea, I mean, can you imagine people, there'd be no more Starbucks tomorrow. It's coffee is gone. They would take dirt and twigs and boil that. And so can you imagine giving up the one thing that was at the heart of your your sense of civility in a strange land, that thing that connected you with everyone you knew, and giving that up? People in this country are not ready to do that. Not in Texas, not in anywhere. And that is what I was referring to earlier, Derek, when I said, do I think it's time for people to go on the the Capitol in Texas and put together ghost runners? Well, I applaud it. I get it. But I've been standing in front of the train all my life, and I tell you, it freaking hurts, you know? And
yeah, but numbers make a difference, Michelle. If there could be a lot of people out there on the Capitol. Are you going, Pablo? Are you going to be
Yes.
See?
Yes, I am.
Right on.
And yeah, hopefully you'll bring a lot of people with you, because numbers make a difference. Do you remember, Michelle, you were probably present at the activist event in New Hampshire in Concord where there was a smoke down going on. People were being arrested for openly smoking cannabis, and one man who was being arrested, one of the officers shouted out, "He's got a gun!" And one of the activists in the crowd shouted out, "We all have guns!" And that shut that cop right up.
Yeah.
And
it is numbers, but and you know, and as you mentioned, Michelle, it all goes back to, and this goes back centuries. We all know this. We don't have to act dumb. It's the indoctrination and the dumbing down of a people through central government and central banking and money, and I mean that's what it's all about. It's just the dumbing down.
How old are you, Pablo? 26?
26, yes, ma'am.
I tell you, I don't know what it is about the 26-year-old man today. It's just like that is like that thing. My kids are 23, 21, and 19, so just a little bit younger than that, and I'm so happy because I didn't get my kids' Social Security numbers. I created this great environment for them, but quite frankly, it's going to be you guys in your age, Derek, and who's like, you know, their brother, and you, Pablo, who are really, 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 you know, I may have created a field for them, but you guys are going to help them reap a harvest, and I'm very grateful to you, so thank you.
It's all for humanity in my point of view.
Yep. Yeah.
So, does this make you a target for police, Pablo, now that they know who you are? Once you're out there carrying a gun, I'm sure they know your first name.
Brother. They don't just know your first name. They know your first and your last name. And hell, they know where I live. Just yesterday, I got home from work, and I saw a car kind of creep up down the street. And I'm always armed, okay? So as soon as I see something suspicious, there's going to be a pistol in my hand automatically. So I see this car kind of slowly creep. It gets closer, and Arlington Police Department creeping up my street. So what are they doing here? I mean, am I just losing my mind? But they're there, regardless of what they were there for. In my mind, I just got arrested. They know who we are. They've been knowing us for a while, and they're creeping up my street.
Who's joining us?
This is my daughter. Say
hello. What do you think about all this? What do you think about what your dad is doing?
What's that?
I said, what do you think about what your dad is doing?
She's like, all right, I'm out of the picture.
She's lost interest. Don't give her the microphone. Well, I want to know, you talked about some of the things that you do while open carrying to normalize the behavior in people's eyes. You mentioned feeding parking meters. Are there other things that you guys do? Or I'll give you a moment to take care of family business, whatever you got to do.
Yeah, she's walking. Okay, now, can you repeat your question, please?
Yeah, what kind of things do you do while open carrying? You mentioned feeding parking meters. What else?
Well, usually when we're open carrying, it's either, well, I'll tell you what, we also, I mean, it's just a spur of the moment thing. It's what we see, how many people are out. When we see an abundant amount of people out, what we want to do is inform them however we can. I have a megaphone. Matter of fact, my megaphone is right here. This thing's going to become real famous here pretty soon, but...
What is it? Oh no, you've muted yourself.
Oh dear.
Oh, there it is. What did you just show us on camera? Can you show us again? You were muted for a second. Oh, cool.
This is the strongest weapon in our lifetime right now, is our voice.
If anyone is seeing this, I hope, and if not, for those that cannot see on the video, Pablo's holding up a megaphone and I think I would love to see Derek with one of those that's either pink or rainbow colored. So if the listeners want to send him one.
Not a rainbow one. That would be awesome with the rainbow like sprouting out.
Yes, it'd be beautiful.
Wait, Pablo, we got to wrap it up. Can you tell us a website or a Facebook page somewhere where people can stay in contact and follow what's going on with you and your adventures?
Yeah, we have a Texas Cop Block. You can go to Facebook and you can find us at Texas Cop Block. You can always go to my personal page under Renee Frias. You can look me up there. And real quick, I want to plug in a fully informed jury notification out in Montana.
Yes!
They are. I just spoke to Kirsten yesterday, day before yesterday. She is awesome. I mean,
did you say Jen?
Awesome. Oh, Kirsten.
Oh, okay.
Kirsten.
Up in what is that? Wisconsin or Minnesota?
Montana.
Oh, yeah.
What is it called? Bowman, Montana. Anyway, I spoke to her.
Bozeman, Montana.
Yes, there you go.
Yeah.
And I was on the radio with Chuck Smith at We Resistors Radio, blogradio.com, and he had Dr. Roger Roots on. I don't know if you know who he is, but Roger Roots. It was great. But like I said, Facebook, Texas Cop Block. You can look up Renee Frias, and just come check us out.
All right on, Pablo. So much, Pablo. It's been great talking with you. I want to thank all our guests today. Don't forget to subscribe to Jeff for Justice and check out peacenewsnow.com in the meantime.
I've been told no in many different ways.
Yay! Awesome. Hey, thanks again, Pablo. That was a terrific interview. I really appreciate you giving us your time, and I realize your family needs you, so thank you very much.
All right, man. Y'all take it easy. Good meeting you guys.
Cheers.
Take care.
Send me on Facebook, Michelle.
I'm not on Facebook, but I'm Bitcoin Bell on Twitter if you're on Twitter.
Bitcoin Bell?
Yep, B-E-L-L-E.
All right, y'all take it easy. Take care.
All
Be
right.
safe.
All right.
Thank you. Peace.
Bye-bye.
So, Michelle.
I like him.
I like him, too. So I'm going to disconnect. We're no longer on LRN.
Okay.
We're still broadcasting on YouTube. I'd like to do a little bonus show for our listeners here. My brother
Can we smoke weed and drink wine now?
Yeah, we can.
Goody.
So my brother lives in Bozeman, Montana. Who else is there? He said it's a really small town. Like there's no one there.
Kirsten, and I can't place her last name. Kirsten, I'm so sorry if you're listening to this. I could look it up real quick. We are friends on Google and Twitter, but anyway, she is
Fully Informed Jury Association?
Yes, she is the person behind that. Yep.
Cool. Wow, that's awesome. Who knew? She was a neighbor with my brother.
Yeah, so I thought he was down in Utah or something.
He's always moving around, but right now he's in Bozeman.
All right. So, okay, the caller prior to Pablo, Saucy Salsa or something?
Yes, Sleepy Salsa.
I'm so sorry, Derek. I was just feeling a little like he didn't want to talk. Obviously he thought that he was talking to Desi and didn't want to talk to Lucy or whatever. The men were going to talk.
Yeah, go make us a sandwich.
You know I would.
Oh, you are sweet.
Oh.
So, I miss you. I missed you over the holidays, and I hope we get to see each other soon. I know I'm going to be down there for the Ross Ulbricht trial.
Well, I thought you were staying with me for that.
Yeah, but not for the whole time. No, I've got many important places to be, people to see.
Okay, well, are you planning on staying for more than a couple days?
Yes, yeah, I plan to be there for a week. I will be there, whether or not anyone else goes or does anything. I will be there every day.
Well, I think Adamo might be coming down because he might be not going to that. But on the weekend, 16th, 17th, 18th, he might be playing poker at AC. So I don't know if you want to, chat with him and carpool or whatever. But I have, of course, that you always have an open invitation here, whether I'm here or not. So I'm going to be leaving, I believe, the morning, either like the 15th, to fly down to Miami. You're welcome to stay here.
Right.
And stay. You can have my bed, and I'll leave you clean sheets.
Woo! That sounds fun.
Yeah, it's better than the
We're still
floor.
broadcasting. This is bonus show content. We have not disconnected on YouTube. So
We're smoking weed and talking about having a sleepover at my house and sleeping in my bed. I think that's pretty after show material.
That's right. Well, that's true. So my thing is going to this New Hampshire Supreme Court, Michelle. Yay!
Sorry. I heard you talking about that prior to me getting on, and you said that you decided to do that. Now, in doing so, did you have to pay a permission, an entry fee?
No.
Oh?
No.
So you don't have to file paperwork and give them like $200 like you do with an appeal?
Yeah, it is an appeal. I haven't had to pay any money yet for the appeal. I've paid my lawyer to file paperwork. He said that there's going to be some fees associated. I think he said that the transcript would be like $200, and you have to get a transcript to go to the next level. And I think that's the only fee that he mentioned, but he said somewhere like the fees would be about $500. So I'm estimating all told to appeal this thing is going to cost about $3,000. So I'm doing a fundraiser at derekj.me/cc.
And what are you hoping to accomplish? Like, what was the so because you didn't win your district court case, what was the outcome of that?
Yeah, so there are two goals. The first is like personal freedom, and the second is
You want to be able to carry a gun and concealed weapon permit.
without the threat of going to jail for it. Yeah, I mean, I could do that, obviously.
So you were denied that, and then it was upheld.
Correct.
Okay, so now you're going to state Supreme Court, and you are going to appeal that decision, and the goal is that you want to be able to legally, without the threat of violence against you by the state, carry a concealed weapon, right, in the free state.
Yeah, in the free state, allegedly.
In the live free or die.
It's a shall issue state too. It's a shall issue state. It's just all a joke. So I have a couple of goals in this, and I think like one of the things I learned from Victimless Crime Spree is the importance of follow through, because there was no follow through with any of the activism that I did there because it was so like abruptly ended by the state. So this time I've been smart. I took something on one issue at a time, not overloading.
You were smart then. You're just more experienced now. But don't discount. You have done it great all along, and you are awesome.
Thank you. That's sweet. Well, I've been learning the whole way, and so what I've learned this far is that
You're Ian Freeman's favorite activist.
Why do you say it in that voice? Ian Freeman's one of my heroes. I mean,
I know, but it was so funny when I was up visiting. I was up, and he's like, "Oh yes, Derek J is my favorite activist." I'm like,
he's just saying that to get under your skin.
No. Of course you are. You're awesome. You push things in Keene, and he wanted that, and for good reason. And I didn't push things in Keene the way you did, and yes, you did it great then. You're doing it better now. Awesome. And so the thing you learned that you're doing now.
Well, yeah, the thing I learned is to have follow through, and basically, it costs money and time. So I'm just putting in that money and time, and just focusing on having a victory on every level that I can. So one other place where I could have a victory here is having Judge Burke dethroned, and that could really come out of left field because I'm sending my victimless crime spree video as part of the evidence for this hearing to all 5 Supreme Court justices. So they're going to watch my movie.
Oh.
Yeah. Contained in that movie is the judge who presided over this hearing lying on camera and having a man arrested. That should be interesting.
Yeah, I would say so. This is your stalwart judge and your, serve and protect blue dudes. Okay, so I think those are both goals that are attainable. Whether or not, it's the state, that's arbitrary, so we don't know how that's going to be. So let's say that both of those are a no. What are you going to do, or what are you creating or hoping the community will do to support your efforts so that there is a win regardless of whether or not the state grants you what you are entitled to and what you're asking for?
So I'm asking, I think our 15 Free Stater reps right now who have been elected to the State House, and
that's so great.
Isn't that cool? So
yeah.
I'm asking some of them to submit bills to the State House that would sort of repeal the unclear language in the law. So the part where I get hung up on the law is I am perfectly legitimate to carry a gun and even to conceal one according to their criteria. But then they add in this line of, unless the chief of police thinks the person is unsuitable. Well, unsuitable, that could mean anything. And so,
look at your shirt and how well you're dressed. I think you're very suitable, honey.
I look great in a suit.
Yeah, that's right.
They're mistaken.
Oh my God, it'd be so funny to have a whole montage of. Oh, that's great.
Well, I got an opportunity to make my montage or to make my statement when I testified in the CCW hearing the first time here in Keene. I won't be able to speak at the Supreme Court hearing. It's just going to be oral argumentations for about 15 minutes on the side of each lawyer. So there's really going to be no excitement at the State House. There's really nothing to do except wait for the outcome, and that's probably going to take a year. So it's not very exciting for the rest of the way, but I'm hoping to at least raise some money. So if this is a victory, I get that paid for, and then also I want the State House reps to submit a bill. We need to actually make the Live Free or Die state the best gun law place in the country, and it's not right now. Oh no, did I lose you? Oh, well, that'll have to be the end of the show. There was more questions for you, Michelle. I always love having you on, and I love these listeners who stayed for our bonus content. That was fun. You can subscribe to this show at peacenewsnow.com/live. You'll see where our YouTube page is and our Facebook page. Don't forget to like us. You can follow on Twitter, follow on Tumblr. And if you really got value out of this program, if you enjoyed some of the voices that I brought to your ears tonight, you can send me Bitcoin through the QR code on your screen. And it looks like Michelle is back to say goodnight with us.
I am. Can I, I'm sorry. Tell me what is going on. It says browser shut down. Now, do I just have it set, the timer set incorrectly or something? Is it? Oh, well.
Good night, Michelle.
I love you. Good night.
Good night. Bye, everyone.